Hi everyone, welcome to this new video of chapter 17. We're going to discuss about exercises 1 to 5 of the chapter of oligopoly. This is the book of Principles of Economics of Gregory Mankiw, 7th edition. So the first question says, a large share of the world's supply of diamonds comes from Russia and South Africa. Suppose that the marginal cost of mining diamonds is constant at $1,000 per diamond, and the demand for diamonds is described by the following schedule. So first, remember the definition of marginal cost is going to be the additional unit of at that time the additional production of that good is going to represent an addition of $1,000. So let's have a look here to the schedule demand. So here we have the relationship between price and quantity. As you know, this is an inverse relationship. So anytime the price decreases, the quantities go up. So here we have the price from 8,000 to 1,000 and the quantities from 5,000 to 12,000. The quantities measured in diamonds and the price is measured in dollars, US dollars. So then the first question said that if there were many suppliers of diamonds, what would be the price and quantity? So then I would say that when we are talking about many suppliers is because we are talking about perfect competitive market. So the characteristic of the perfect competitive market, so take into account this, that the marginal cost equal to 1,000, is that the condition is like the price is exactly equal to the marginal cost. This is given because due to there is a lot of suppliers, they don't have any incidence in the market. They are too small to modify the price. So anytime you go to the market, actually the benefits should be zero. So then the price for that is going to be exactly the cost of that unit. So then we will identify that the price should be equal to 1,000 and the quantities should be equal to 12,000 diamonds. Okay, so this should be the price and quantity when we are talking about perfect competitive market. Then the other says, if there were only one supplier of diamonds, what would be the price and quantity? So in order to understand better this, we're going to build the table here. So here we have the schedule that it was presented by the book. So then we can add new columns in order to understand better the behavior of the decision of this company. So we can identify that there is a total revenue, and we can say that this is measured by millions in order to avoid writing or typing all those zeros. So then it should be 40 millions of dollars. It should be the total revenue that company if they offer 5,000 diamonds. Okay, then we have 7 times 6, 42, then 7 times 6 times 7, 42, so on and so forth. So we fill the table, and then we know that the total cost measured in million is going to be the quantities times the kind of the average total cost. So we already know that the marginal cost is constant, so we can infer that the average total cost should be exactly 1,000. So then we just multiply at that time by the quantity, and it's going to be measured again by millions. Okay, so then this should be 5 millions. Okay, then 6, 7, so on and so forth. So this is the total cost of that company. So naturally, when we already have the total revenue and the total cost, we can take the profits. So the profits are defined by the total revenue, and you need to subtract the total cost. So then it should be this one. Then, if we are talking about monopoly, remember it's completely the other side of the coin. This is like really far away from the the condition of the perfect competitive market when they arrive, and the condition when is the maximum quantities produced when the profits are zero. Remember that we established here. So the monopoly is the total the opposite. Actually, is the less. It's going to be like the minimum quantity offered, and actually to the highest priced. So then this should be this one. This should be the maximum profit that this company can reach. So they will offer 6,000 diamonds and a price of $7,000. Okay. Then, if Russia and South Africa formed a cartel, what would be the price and quantity? If the countries split the market evenly, what would be South Africa's production profit? What would happen to South Africa's profit if it increased its production by $1,000 while Russia stuck to the cartel agreement? So okay, first again we have your table, we have here the total revenue, total cost, and here we have the profits. When we are talking about a cartel, so they move in the same way. So because of they move the same way as like them, they act as only one. So because they act as they were only one, this is going to be a replication of the monopoly situation. So then definitely this should be this one. So then which should be the quantities? It should be split exactly the same. So it's going to be divided. Russia will produce 3,000 diamonds, and South Africa the same. Okay. So then let's have a look. So here should be 18 million. Okay. Why? Because should be 36. You this like split that in two, then should be the profit, and the quantities as I said before. So then imagine the new situation. So South Africa is kind of smart and should say, okay, I'm going to increase my production in 1,000. Automatically, before the production of South Africa was 3,000. Then after this after this 1,000, they will produce 4,000, right? So then the profit of South Africa should be this one. Why? Because they will have 4,000 times 6,000, so the total revenue of South Africa should be 24, and the cost of that should be 4. Remember that the average total cost is 4. It's like 4,000. Okay, so then the average total cost is 1,000. So then multiply by the quantities produced, which is 4. They should be 4. This is expressed in millions. So the profits of South Africa should be 20. What about Russia? Russia will still produce 18. Okay, because they stuck to the cartel agreement, and the cost should be 3, because it should be again 3,000, the cost of the multiplication of the quantities times the average total cost, and then the total profit should be 15. So then this should be, they are here where the total profit is less than the previous situation, but South Africa took advantage of that and they will get more than before. So this is actually because they move, because before they had 18, but then with the movement they will have 20. So there are incentives enough to avoid the commitment, or to cut like this decision that they have signed before. Okay, so then use your answers to part C to explain why cartel agreements are often not successful. So actually, it's basically what I said before. This is not successful because there are a lot of incentives. So maybe South Africa cannot measure the movement, and they say, okay, I'm going to take that risk because it's worth. I can move, I can take more part of the market, I can increase my production. Even the price goes down, I will get more part of that cake of the market. So then for this situation, actually the cartel agreement sometimes they are not successful because there are a lot of incentives to kind of avoid the agreement, okay, as we present before. So then the second point, the New York Times reported that the inability of OPEC, which is the cartel created for the producers of oil, okay, to agree last week to cut production has sent the oil market into turmoil. So then the lowest price so it will lead to the lowest price for domestic crude oil since June 1990. So this is really important to have into account some scheme that I'm going to present to you. So the first question says, why were the members of OPEC trying to agree to cut production? Why? Because this is the relationship. Here we have in the first row the quantities, they increase from left to right. Then we have here the profits, they increase from right to left. So there is an inverse relationship between the quantity and profits. It means that anytime the quantities decrease, at that time the profits will increase. So for this reason, monopolists and actually oligopolists as well, they really want to try to keep the quantities low, because when they guarantee that the quantities will be low, the profits will be high. So this is really important to take into account that. And then the next situation is the price. The price moves exactly as the profits because they have inverse relationship with the quantities. So when there is kind of a scarcity of a good, the price usually goes up. Okay, but when there is abundance of that good, the price will be naturally low. So then this first bar is like the first situation. Why? Because it was the first situation when they had kind of agreement where the quantities produced were low but the profits were high and the price as well. So have a look that here there is a price low, so automatically you understand the profits should be low and actually the quantity should be high, so there should be a lot of oil into the market. So then why were the members of OPEC trying to agree to cut production? Why? Because anytime you have like higher quantities inside the market, there should be a problem because the total benefits or the total profit for the companies of at that time for the countries should be lower. So for this reason they are trying to cut production. Then why do you suppose OPEC was unable to agree on cutting production? Why did the oil market go into turmoil as a result? Basically, because this is a strategic game. But this is a strategic game where actually I don't care what you're getting. What I'm really care is what I'm getting. So for this reason, if I have incentives enough to produce more and have more profits, I don't care about you. So for this reason, every player wants to have more part of the market. So this is like really hard to have that, and at the end of it's like kind of dominoes like issue, right? Because just if it happens that just the first moves, it should be kind of a change process. The other will move, the other will move all the time until there is a standpoint where there are no more incentives to move. Is what we call the Nash equilibrium, right? So then actually people fall on interest. So this is really important. So for this reason, so hard to reach an agreement. And as I said before, this is completed until Nash equilibrium is reached. Okay. Then the newspaper also noted that OPEC's view that producing nations outside the organization like Norway and Britain should do their share and cut production. What does the phrase "do their share" suggests about OPEC's desired relationship with Norway and Britain? Naturally, they really want that they cooperate because it should be kind of a paying in the neck, because all the time they move, right, it's going to affect the total production of oil, and at the end of the day it forces that even people inside that cartel, or the countries inside that cartel, they have incentives enough to deviate. So for this reason, it could be okay if they cooperate, so they do their share. Then, when those countries cooperate, what's the final idea? It's not because okay, you will get more profit. It's not what I'm trying to say. It's like the total, everyone will have better benefits, but at the end of the day, as individual, my position should be better if they don't cooperate, Norway and Britain. So then it's important to take into account that they are not part of the cartel, but it should be great if they make part of it, because everyone will move the same way, and everyone will reach the maximum profit possible. Then the third question says, this chapter discusses companies that are oligopolists in the market for the goods they sell. Many of the same ideas apply to companies that are oligopolists in the market for the inputs they buy. So we are like kind of the opposite. So if sellers who are oligopolists try to increase the price of goods they sell, what is the goal of buyers who are oligopolists? Well, actually, it should be basically the same, because actually, when they want to buy something, the idea is like they want to buy those inputs cheaper. So they would like to decrease the price. So this is the basic idea instead of the other one, because the other one, remember, they really want to charge a higher price associated with less quantities. So Major League Baseball team owners have an oligopoly in the market for baseball players. What is the owner's goal regarding player salaries? Why is this goal difficult to achieve? So the idea, basically, they would like to offer the minimum possible salary. Actually, it should be okay. I would like that you play for $0. Should be like the ideal scenario, but obviously this is impossible. Why so difficult? Because the lower price you offer, the higher probability the other team takes him. Okay, so for this reason, this is kind of a difficult situation. This is a trade-off, because from one side I can save on salaries, but from other side I'm so close to lose that player. Actually, because we know that most of the workers, they perform usually associated with the salary. If they offer a low salary compared with the salaries market, the effort that he will put should be definitely lower. So for this reason, this goal is too difficult to achieve, right? Then, as I said, if it's low enough, they will go to other teams. And other teams cannot cooperate, and they can start to increase prices, or start to kind of cheat on them and say, okay, I'm going to offer you a higher price, so a higher salary, so you can go and play with me. You will be better here. So then, the C point says, baseball players went on a strike in 1994 because they would not accept the salary cap that the owners wanted to impose. If the owners were already colluding over salaries, why did they feel the need for salary cap? Okay, basically the idea is like when you have a salary cap, this is kind of a measure to enforce commitment. So because you enforce this agreement between the teams, you can punish them, and you can make the punish high enough in order to avoid them to deviate. So for this reason, maybe if we are already colluding, but because we have a lot of incentives to move, it should be better to punish them, then the incentives will disappear. So this is the way, and actually we can make an explicit cartel where everyone will move in the same way, and there are not going to be like kind of incentives to deviate. Okay, so the fourth question, consider trade relations between the United States and Mexico. where I live now. Assume that the leaders of the two countries believe the payoffs to alternative trade policies are as follows. So here we have the matrix of payments. First, I want you to really grasp the idea of those matrix payment. Anytime you have that, you need to interpret that in the same way so that you can understand and you can go straightforward to the answers. So here we have the two players. So who are the two players? United States and Mexico. And they have decision. It's what we call kind of a strategy. Okay? Obviously they depend on others' decision. Is why it makes this game theory where it depends on the other's decision. So here, what are the decisions or the strategies of them? They can operate low tariffs or high. Okay, and obviously, as I said, it depends on the other one. We start to analyze the payments depending on the other ones. So what about if US and Mexico, they operate low tariffs? Both get 25 billion gains. Okay, what about if both they have high tariffs? They have 20 billion, right? Should be lower than this one, right? And what about if they charge high tariffs and these low tariffs? Should be 30 10, should be better for them, high tariffs and then 10 billion. And then could be replicate exactly the opposite when Mexico's decision is high tariffs and the other one is low. So this is the idea. Okay, I guess that you already understand how this payment works. Then it says, what is the dominant strategy for the United States? For Mexico, and explain. So remember, anytime we talk about dominant strategy, is something that it doesn't matter what the order will move. I will move exactly the same. Okay? Doesn't matter if Mexico goes to high or low, US every time will choose anything. But should be exactly this one. Okay? So we need to find out this dominant strategy. And automatically when we find this dominant strategy and they have for both, when they cross these two dominant strategies, we can arrive to Nash equilibrium. This is sure. But actually take into account that sometimes we do have just a one dominant strategy, but actually we arrive to a Nash equilibrium. Okay? So we will see this actually in the next exercise. So here, let's start to analyze the situation for US. So if Mexico moves with low tariffs, United States decision should be high. Why? Because it's better for them get 30 million instead of 25 billion. What about if Mexico decision is high tariff? If it's high tariff, should be better for US decision move with high tariff because they will get 20 instead of 10 billion. So automatically we verify that this dominant strategy for US is high tariff. What about for Mexico? If United States operates with low tariff, Mexico will go with high tariff, right? Because it's better 30 billions than 25 billion. What about the US operates with high tariffs? Should be better 20 billion than 10 billion. So then every time it doesn't matter what is the movement of US, Mexico will move all the time high tariffs. So then for both is high tariffs. Define Nash equilibrium. What is the Nash equilibrium for trade policy? So I usually operate in that way. So first, what is better for Mexico if US operates low tariffs? 25 or 30? 30 naturally. What about if high tariffs should be 10 or 20? 20. Actually, we underline naturally in the dominant strategy. We need to verify with the US and the square that we have both output underlined. This should be the Nash equilibrium. So then, for this one, when Mexico go with low tariff, it should be better for US 30 billion naturally because it's a dominant strategy, and then this one, the high tariff, it will go to this one. So automatically we verify here that this is the underlying when the output both are underlined. So here we have this is the Nash equilibrium. Should be the strategy of USA should be high tariffs, and the Mexico should be high tariff as well. So this is the Nash equilibrium. Then, in 1993, the US Congress ratified the North American Free Trade Agreement. Actually, this is so famous this time where I'm performing that video because they are in negotiation, and the tension in Mexico is so high because they are playing too much in that agreement. So in which the United States and Mexico agreed to reduce trade barriers simultaneously. Do the perceived payoffs shown here should justify this approach to trade policy explain? Yes, because actually this when they cooperate both, it means cooperation in trade policy should be when they both operate with low tariffs. So when both operate with low tariffs, the output should be 25. So definitely this game replicates the importance of trade policy. Why? Since when they don't cooperate, when they have high tariffs and they pursue their own interests, they will get less if they cooperate. Okay? Then, based on your understanding of the gains from trade discussed in chapter 3 and 9, do you think that these payoffs actually reflect the nation's welfare and the four possible outcomes? Well, remember, if we have low tariffs, or it means zero tariffs, there is no deadweight loss. Remember, the deadweight loss is this kind of all those transactions that they are not performed due to the intervention of the, in this case, of the government, because the government is who, at the end of the day, they charge and they try to get kind of taxes from these they charge taxes to get income with these kind of tariff. So definitely the low tariffs, this is the best welfare for all actors, not for the government, but for the consumers and producers, because there is no deadweight loss. When there is a low and a high tariff, automatically we verify there is not like kind of equitative agreement between the countries, because one of them they have kind of larger incomes due to higher tariffs, and not just like larger incomes, they protect the industries at the end of the day. So this should be like no kind of barriers to trade, and consumers will be can avoid it to have like lower prices. Instead, they will face higher prices due to these higher tariffs. So for this reason, this is like bad for the welfare. And the worst scenario is just like not even one country is not like beneficiated for that, and actually both of them they have like they have troubles, and they will get less welfare due to they charge high tariffs, and they should be more deadweight loss for the consumers, and at the end it should affect variety, because producers they don't have more incentives to produce more and export because they will face higher tariffs. So definitely this should be a problem, and then consumers, due to lack of variety, they should be less kind of welfare for them, less variety, and they should pay even more. Okay, so this should be the case. Then the fifth point, Synergy and Dynaco, or Dynaco, I don't know, are the only two firms in a specific high-tech industry. They face the following payoff matrix as they decide upon the size or of their research budget. So first, understand. So we have two players, I will call Synergy and Dynaco. And then they have the strategies. Both they have the same. They have the possibility of use large budget or small one. Automatically, you verify here that as a total one, they have a higher benefit here, and here we have like a lower benefit here, okay, as a whole. But this is a different game that we have seen during this chapter and during the previous exercises. Why? Because the amounts, they are not exactly, it's not like a lamb zero game is what we call, where the outputs, they are exactly the same for both players. Because actually we see here how Dynaco, it has like more benefits. Maybe they have a higher or higher in kind of enterprise or better enterprise, so for this reason they will get more benefits. But these should be the better benefits where they can cooperate, and we will see if they arrive to this one. Okay, just to understand, if both play large budget, Dynaco will get 30 and Synergy will get 20, and then if they play small budget, should be 40 for the Synergy, and Dynaco should be 50. If they play large budget and small budget, Synergy will get 0 and Dynaco should be 70, and this should be the opposite, but just in this time it will not get 20, instead he will get, or it will get 30. Okay, then the first question says, does Synergy have a dominant strategy? Explain. So we will see. So first, imagine that Dynaco will play large budget. What should be better, 20 or 0? Definitely should be at that time 0, right? Sorry, 20. So for this reason, the dominant strategy, or at least the first strategy, should be this one. Let's see if it continues. Then when this Dynaco decision is a small budget, what should play Synergy? 30 or 40? Should be better 40. So for this reason, if Dynaco plays large, Synergy will go large. But if Dynaco plays small, Synergy will play small as well. So for this reason, Synergy doesn't have any dominant strategy because it depends on movement to the other one. Does Dynaco have a dominant strategy? Let's have a look. If Synergy play large, Dynaco will play large because it's better 30 than 0. If Synergy plays small, Dynaco will get 70 instead of 50, right? So this should be better, this one. So then, for this reason, the Dynaco, they have a dominant strategy, should be large budget. It doesn't matter what the other's decision, Dynaco will play exactly all the time large budget. Okay, then is there a Nash equilibrium for this scenario? Explain. Hint, look closely at the definition of Nash equilibrium. So we're going to play with underline bars. Okay, so first, what should be better for Dynaco? This one when there is large or small? Should be large, as I said. Then what about if is small? Should be better large, right? So the dominant strategy, naturally, this is both underlined for Dynaco. Let's have a look to Synergy. What about the Dynaco plays large? Should be better 20 or 0? Should be better 20. And what about the other one? Should be better 30 or 40? Should be better 40. So then we will say that this is a Nash equilibrium, okay, for Synergy large, and from Dynaco with, I'm sorry, this should be Y, whatever, and large budget and large budget, okay? Then why this is a Nash equilibrium, and it looks kind of strange because before we saw that it was exactly the same payment for them, because they don't have any incentive to move. Imagine that we are Synergy. Synergy can move, instead of offer large budget, should move to small, should get 0. So then definitely they don't have enough incentives to move. What about Dynaco? We are here. I say, okay, I'm going to move, I'm going to cheat on them, and I'm going to produce, I'm going to offer a small budget. It should be 0. So no, it's better to keep here. Okay, this is another example how the non-cooperative equilibrium, this is the Nash equilibrium, is worse than the cooperative one, because if they cooperate, they will get this part. Okay, so I guess that's all for this video. I hope it has worth any time this is subtle. This is my point of view. If you have maybe a better way to solve them or something that is wrong, I'm more than open to listen to them. And that's all. Thank you so much and see you the next time. Bye bye.